Hello and greetings from Bombay, India. Thank you, and it's a complete pleasure and privilege to be talking to you on this platform designed and created by Christopher Lafayette and his team. So, let me first thank Christopher and his team for putting together this much needed platform for the metaverse. Today, we are on the cusp of moving from a 2D restrictive platform into a 3D virtual world, which is obviously going to be underpinning your blockchain, IoT, 5G, AI, NFTs, and there's just so much. And these convergence of these technologies is going to create a platform which is intended, or at least vision, to be completely decentralized and open and participative for all. And Christopher and his team shares the ethos, and it's a complete pleasure to be part of this wonderful platform and play a role in driving a conversation towards that future. The title of the talk is Metaverse, the opportunity to right the wrongs, and I'm going to address the two main themes of the conference, which is humanity first and accessibility. So let me give you a brief introduction. My name's Avil, and I've been invested in the creative industry for over 20 years. So I produce content for advertising agencies and production houses over here. In early 2015, late 2015, a client of mine came to me and asked me if I could create virtual reality live action content for them. And that was the first time I got to know about virtual reality. And I jumped in without knowing about it. And their requirement was to create live action virtual reality content for a travel app, because they wanted me to capture these luxury resorts all over India in 360 stereoscopic virtual reality. And they wanted to shoot it with a robotic dolly, so the end user feels that he is actually in the resort. And that started my journey of understanding the problems and the opportunity of virtual reality. Back then in 2015, there was very few stereoscopic virtual reality cameras, and there was very few robotic dollies, So I did some research, and the top guys was the Facebook had a VR camera, Nokia had a VR camera called Ozo, and Google had VR camera called Odyssey. When I imported the camera and the robotic dolly, I realized it was really expensive. I had to not just import the camera, but also the attendants pay for the airfare. But yes, it was a very enriching experience because I got to learn about it. But then I realized that this is a major problem here in India. India has an accessibility issue of these technologies. It was not available whatsoever. So I said, can I solve this problem for not just for myself, but other entrepreneurs like myself who would want to leverage virtual reality content creation? And there was the possibility doesn't exist, because there was no VR camera at that point of time. So being a brave and a stupid entrepreneur, I pumped in a lot of money, and we built our own 16 camera VR rig in late 2015. That was the first of its kind. We built a prototype, and we didn't even just build the virtual reality camera. We also built a robotic dolly, and we said, okay, now we've got the product. Can we create and solve the accessibility problem by renting this out for entrepreneurs such as myself who would want to leverage it, or maybe see if we could sell this. So first we went to start venture capitalist, and we figured that we were too early into the market and they were really not interested. So I said, okay, can we create an interest for this? And that's when I produced India's first stereoscopic VR horror short film called Crackle, using our camera and a robotic dolly. And it was extremely well received here in India. It did the festival circuit. It won the best VR film at the Miami Fear Film Festival. And it created some noise. It gave us some commissioned content, and we were happy with that. But then the interest started weaning off because the technology was in a nascent stage and the ecosystem was not there. The requirement for things like this was not on a regular basis. So again, I saw another problem. So I said, can we create an industry which is sustainable? And what it would require for me to create an industry which is sustainable. So I knew that to create a sustainable industry, you need to build a community and an ecosystem, and you have to gather the stakeholders. So taking this idea of gathering all the stakeholders under one roof, I approached a couple of companies and I founded my next venture, which is Immersion. Immersion is India's first and largest virtual reality film festival and conference. It played a decent role in driving the adoption of AR, VR, MR here in the country. We created a 2-day extravagant event with some 45 speakers, 1,000 plus attendees, and brands such as Facebook, Google, Intel, Jio, Accenture was present for the event. And there was quite a lot of initial excitement, but after a month and a half, that excitement also started dying off. And then I realized again the problem. The problem is when you're trying to create an ecosystem, you cannot engage the stakeholders only once a year. So with something in a nascent stage, a technology which is a nascent stage, you had to engage them on a regular basis. So again, I saw this problem and I said, what can we do to solve this problem here in India? And that's when I founded my next venture, which is called XR Om. So the intention of XR Om was to give a voice and a platform for the growing number of startups in the country, educate and raise awareness about this technology, create a community, and possibly excite the uninitiated to understand the importance and leverage the opportunity of AR, VR, MR. So XROM has a vertical which is a digital news website where we give a voice and a platform for AR, VR startups here in the country and around the world. And I have a podcast called XROM, again, where I've interviewed around 113 plus individuals from companies such as STC, Qualcomm, Nvidia, Intel, and some of the top startups. And this was a much needed initiative over here because startups were finally could get an opportunity and a platform to talk about the products that they're building, the services that they're offering. And through this platform, the podcast, which is a very small effort, but through it, they could reach brands, reach consumers, and tell them what they're building and the problems that they're solving. Through my ventures that I build, which is VR Storytellers, Immersion VR Fest, and XROM, what persisted and was always a problem was the accessibility. In India, if you would want to buy an Oculus Quest VR headset, the VR headset which retails in the US for $300, $299, yeah, it's close to $600 on platforms such as Amazon. And the reason it goes to almost double is because I think there is a genuine problem over here. If you want to import these HMDs or cameras, there is huge import tax, which is around 30%, plus the logistics of the shipping. So the one who imports it obviously puts a margin and then he sells it for a premium. And so this was a huge problem. So I took it upon myself and said, can we solve this problem again? And I started speaking to brands such as the Facebooks, the Microsoft, the STCs, the Pimax VR, the Pico VR, and smaller startups. And I requested them to look at India as a market opportunity, because in 2015 there was 5 startups, in 2021 there's 2,500 startups. So there is a growth for all these startups. They require products. Enterprise is leveraging AR, VR, MR. They require hardware and software, and the ecosystem is not there. So I through my conversation, I told them about the problem over here, and I said, can we try and get those products for almost the similar price, or because that's the only way we can nudge people to adopt and implement these technologies. So I founded XR Bazaar, which is a marketplace where I buy, sell, and I also rent AR, VR headsets, cameras, accessories, and so on and so forth. So those listeners, those companies who are vested in hardware or software or anything which is in the AR, VR space, please get in touch with me. Would love to represent you guys over here and find ways where we could collaborate and have those products at a price point which is fair rather than being cheated. So when we are building this metaverse, let's create a world which is inclusive, because we are feeling excluded. I'm sure others sitting in maybe Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Africa might be feeling the same way. I know it's difficult for a company to take a product to and set up and market and promote in a different geography, but we could figure a way, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation. My humble plea to those big companies and hardware and software companies who would want to explore the growing opportunity here in India is, do kindly get in touch, and we could explore opportunities to bring your products over here, bring your services over here, and create a win-win situation for everyone. Because the ecosystem here is growing, and I mentioned there's 2,500 startups. I should highlight that India's largest telecom company, Jio, is working on building a mixed reality headset, and their vision is to bring the mixed reality headset at a price point which is completely consumer friendly, and their ethos is completely different. When Magic Leap and Microsoft is building their AR and MR headset for enterprise, they say that their mixed reality headset is for everyone, from students to consumers to enterprise. I know that there's a business model that needs to be followed, but I'm sure we can find a way to create a product which is for everyone, so nobody feels excluded. Now, the metaverse. I'm super excited for it, but I'm also scared about it. Scared about it because we as humans do not have a great track record. When Sir Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, his intention and his vision was for a completely decentralized World Wide Web. But today, it's a complete walled garden. It's hidden behind paywalls, where our data is being manipulated, and you, me, and everyone are the product. I hope that we do not make the mistake. And I'll give you one example. I have the privilege of conversing through my podcast, both the XR which is India's first AR VR focused podcast, to I Am Possible, which is India's first future tech meets sustainability podcast. I get the honor and privilege to conversing with world leaders in frontier technology, sustainability, and the XR space. Just recently, I had the privilege to have a conversation with Gaia Harrington, who's the sustainability director at KPMG, and she took this report, a 1972 report called Limit to Growth. And in 1972, what the Limit to Growth report suggested or predicted was that humanity's race to constantly produce and consume is destroying the earth, because there is a limit to growth. And so what she did was she took that report, added the present day data, the variables of the population data, the pollution data, the business data, and so on and so forth, and she ran it through her system dynamics modeling algorithm, and then she realized that the report, what 1972 report, what Limit to Growth report had suggested, is bang on target. In fact, 2040, according to her present day analysis of the report, it seems that we are headed for a global societal collapse. And the reason I'm saying this is because there is so many wrongs with the physical world, or capitalism, or education industry, or healthcare, or governance, or religion. Everything has been age-old tradition businesses that we have stuck to, or we are still following blindly when we are living in the 21st century. Let's try and correct the wrongs, because this metaverse that we are building, it's not just us breaking away from a 2D interface which has restricted us for over 100 years. It's us breaking away from the norms, the structure. So far, everything that we have built is not in a circular economy. We create, we produce, and we pollute. I hope that we do not make the mistakes in the digital world. We have the opportunity to build a metaverse that does not exclude us, but includes everyone. So I, sitting here in India, as somebody sitting in Pakistan or Bangladesh, Africa, doesn't feel excluded. Let's create this world which is built by the users, which is truly interoperable, which is truly decentralized, transparent, which gives the ownership of data to the rightful owner rather than being manipulated. Because today we are the products. As a content creator, when I create content and I put on the platforms, the only thing that I get is likes. And the economical benefits goes to the platform. Let's build a participative, equitable platform for everyone, where everybody gets to create, earn, own, and shape the future. Because today, 1% of the global elites own 90% of the entire global capital. The inequality is so disturbing. Let's free away from a restriction and let's build the metaverse which is truly equitable and inclusive for everyone. So thank you for listening to my rant, and if you want to reach out to me, here's my LinkedIn link and my email below. Please do reach out and be happy to kind of see if we could collaborate and create an ecosystem which is beneficial for everyone. Thank you.